Have you heard the news? Coca-Cola just made a full AI commercial. Oh, and Tenz and Kyedae broke up. I don't even know where to start when it comes to situations like these. If you don't know, Tenz and Kyedae are prominent content creators on Twitch, and they're popular through the game Valorant. Recently, they've been branching out a lot more, and that's how people know them. And a lot of people like them, and they just broke up. And to the people that aren't so shocked, it's because the rumors have been circulating for a while now. Tenz not wearing the engagement ring, some shady stuff going around, WestJet uploads,
Baba Booey.
and a lot of people were just waiting for the ball to drop. And the ball did drop, and it dropped hard. The internet is in flames. They look like the perfect couple, and they did everything together, and that ended up being their downfall. So this is Kyedae's tweet. Feel free to pause the video if you want to. But this reminds me, can anyone tell me any influencers that are in relationships with other influencers and it actually lasts? Type them down in the comments so I can make it part 2, because I feel like being in a relationship as an influencer with another influencer is just inviting disaster to your doorstep and letting them step on you. You're dealing with hectic schedules, your face is a brand and so are theirs. You're dealing with crazy fans, work and rest are muddled together, and suddenly you don't even feel like a person anymore, you're a thing. And a lot of people watch that thing, and a lot more judge that thing, which is why dating influencers is already a bad idea. But tangent aside, let's review this explanation. So this explanation basically boils down to, we want to grow into our own people separately. And I think that sentiment alone is going to hit for a lot of people in relationships. I know people who think that their relationship is holding them back and they don't have the time for themselves, and I agree. I think relationships are hard. They're hard, okay? Not just to manage, but to sort of remember why you committed yourself to that person in the first place. And I think it's daunting to make that decision, especially when you're just 17. You don't know shit at 17. It's very easy to say yes to things because we haven't lived life to how we live them major. It's very easy to say yes to things because we haven't lived life the way we're gonna live them for the majority of our life. And I understand that you want more, or if Tenz wants more, or if you guys want more and you feel that this relationship is holding you back. Another thing with being so young while also being so committed to a person is that what would you expect could happen? You have your entire life in front of you. You can do anything you want, whenever you want. You have the luxury of choice and time, and I think you just rushed it too quickly. And then suddenly, it feels like your partner has changed, and that you have changed, but that change just doesn't fit the puzzle to fit before, and I think it's sad. But I think it was expected. But also, you can grow individually while still being in a relationship. How? By taking a break. You don't have to completely leave it all behind unless you're 100% sure that what you're gonna do next is gonna absolutely triumph what you did before. That it was just gonna be a stepping stone towards something bigger. And I think that Kyedae has that mentality, but Tenz doesn't. You see, a lot of people think that the one who started this agreement was Kyedae, because Tenz has given up a lot to be with Kyedae, and he chose to stick together even when Kyedae had cancer. When Kyedae had drama with others, it never messed with their relationship, because I think Tenz knew that even if he grew, he would still come back to her as the same person. There was no time where Tenz at the peak of his career was like, I don't have time for you, Kyedae. I have a career. And even if it was like that, I think Kyedae fully supported it as well. A lot of people don't know this, but Tenz was supposed to retire a year before he actually retired. And it was Kyedae to be the one to push him, to being like, yes, you can do it. One more year. This year is going to be it. And it was. Kyedae was pushing Tenz to grow, to be a better player. And that's why I think that this leaves a bad taste in my mouth, because a partner can push you more than anyone else, even yourself. But we're done with pointing fingers and all of that. I just want to talk about influencer relationships in general, and there's one that comes to mind: popular MMOs and Gen, or Pat and Gen, I guess. And I think a lot of what happened between Kyedae and Tenz just repeated itself here. You have two individuals who are pretty young and in love, and they just say yes to everything, and then suddenly you blink, and then you have a house together, you have pets together, you've built a life together, and it comes to a pivotal point of, do you want to have children? And you realize that this person that you've been saying yes to, that you've been building your life with, wants a different set of blocks to build with, and there's no takebacks with that. But even I think that Pat and Jen should have taken a break. Why? Because now Pat wants children, but Jen is in a completely new and different part of her life, and there's no takebacks now. Look, we were all young and naive once, no matter how much we were taught and how we lived. We were all stupid, right? We were all really fucking stupid. But we were decisively stupid, and sometimes that backfires, and it's something more than what you would have expected. Last tangent. I think that becoming a streamer and being in a relationship with a streamer is like the worst form of a relationship, because at any moment you can be with that person, but the moment that they switch on that camera, and they're just gonna turn into an entirely different person, and they have to meet these new personas that they have to convey just to keep engagement, and it sort of blurs the line between a job and an interest. And then there's a growing sense of, am I replaceable? Am I worth less than his streams? Not to mention that the crazy people who would go to lengths to find a location of said streamer. Are you willing to give up your privacy just to be with this person? Are you willing to give up so much of your life just to be with that person? And when you're young, it's so easy to say yes because you haven't felt this way to any other person, but then it slowly melts you from the inside out. And I think that's what happened. You know, these people are too young to be in fully fledged relationships where they're actually living with each other, where they're trying to meet the needs of each other in a serious way, you know. You're young. You should just live life while you're young. That reference was not supposed to. So what's the solution? Just huddle yourself in a room, close the light, and just scroll next. Because that's a lot less stressful than being with an influencer who wants more with so much of his life left. That was so good.